From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
What a snappy tune right there. It is the Bryan and Vinny Show here. It is May 24, 2018, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. It is Thursday, so we've got the Granny segment, and she's got a lot to talk about here today.
Oh, yeah.
You know about this?
I think so.
All right. So we'll talk about that here, and then we got NXT from Full Sail, which was a pretty goddamn great show, including an appearance by the Humongous Hominid.
Is that what they said?
That's Lars Sullivan's new name.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, it's accurate.
Yeah. The Humongous Hominid. Which is different, by the way, from a hominoid.
I was not aware.
Yeah, hominoid is a made-up word that the cryptozoologists use for Bigfoot.
I see.
So actually, he should be the Humongous Hominoid.
He's like a Bigfoot.
Quite frankly. But he's a humongous hominid. So we got that, and then we have got Ring of Honor from Edinburgh. I was accused of mispronouncing it on the Observer Live show today, but I did not. Edinburgh. Yeah, my TV just magically
flicked on, yeah.
Well, I can do this right here on the air.
Just a screensaver.
Maybe that's why Vinny had a buzz on his mic. Anyway, why do we watch ROH in Edinburgh? Just a random house show on this tour? What is happening on my show today?
Zero,
what was
this is
that?
my fault.
It was CNN.
What happened?
CNN was coming on my phone.
Why is CNN playing on your phone?
I have no idea. Apparently, I bumped something.
All right. Well, anybody else have anything they want to get out before I move on here?
Nothing's happening with me, man.
All right. Hey, Tony, how was Solo?
It was...
Tony went to the movies.
It was a nice, mediocre Disney movie.
Really?
Yes. My expectations were low, and they met them.
Well, a stellar review.
Nothing to complain about then.
When are
not
you
really.
going, Vinny? This weekend?
Not this weekend. I'll go sometime, I'm sure.
I have no plans for this particular one.
When was the last time you saw a movie in a theater?
I went to the most recent Star Wars
Oh, okay.
at McMenamin's.
That's where Tony went.
That's where I went.
I was the only one there.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. I had the entire theater to myself.
Was it like 10 a.m.?
No, it was in the evening, and I went in there at like 11, and I walk in there, and there's a fella there. There's like one guy working. There's an area where they sell tickets to the movies, and they also sell concessions.
Sure.
It's all in the same spot.
Get booze.
Yeah, so I didn't get booze. But I go there, and I got a popcorn from the guy selling me a ticket to the movie.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a ticket guy.
I understand, Brian.
Yeah.
It's like
Vinny,
that.
some people don't understand.
Well, at 11,
Don't
there's
cut
only
me
one
off
guy
here,
there.
you jackass. There's one guy. He sells the tickets, and he sells the popcorn. He sells everything else. You know what else he does? He locks
Owns the
up.
projector. Oh.
He locks up. Because he told me, he goes, I'll be here for about another hour. You can let yourself out.
Okay.
I was the only one in the theater. I had the whole theater to myself watching this movie with my big-ass thing of pop. It was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, that's the last movie I saw in the theater.
Okay.
I'm not going to see the next one. I didn't see Rogue One either. I know Vinny was talking about that here
I liked
today.
Rogue One a lot.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it
too late
because
now.
they brought dead guys back to life for that one.
Well, then back in time.
Well, I know, but they had to bring dead actors back to life.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes, so I want to see that what do they call it? The uncanny gap?
It's extremely uncanny.
Yes.
I forgot about that until right now, but yes, that happens.
Yes, the uncanny gap. Anyway, so the reason we watch Ring of Honor is we now live in a time. Some people forget this, especially if you're younger. But like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I didn't want to leave my house because there was so much stuff that I had to watch and that I had to do. And if I wasn't in my house, I couldn't do a goddamn thing. But we now are in an era where I can watch all of the WWE pay-per-views on any of my devices. I can watch my entire cable package on any of my devices. I have DirecTV now, or whatever I've got, PlayStation View. I could watch a Ring of Honor show in Edinburgh that took place earlier this morning on my Apple TV. Sadly, it wasn't very good.
It sure wasn't.
Well, one of the matches was very bad. Main event actually was good. There was just no heat.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. So anyway, let's get Granny in the line, and away we go. Well, Granny's here on the show, everybody, and we got a lot to talk about here today because a very, very busy week for Granny.
You bet.
You bet.
Starting Monday.
Well, let's just start at the beginning, Granny. What happened?
Okay. Anyway, Val, Nikki, and I took my car through emission, and it passed with flying colors. So we went to lunch, and we met down at QFC, so I got in my car and came home, and I couldn't believe what I saw. My arbor, my birdhouse, my plants, everything was knocked over.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, and we found out what happened.
Well, first off, before we get to what happened, Granny, you at first thought that this was a case of vandalism.
Yes, I did.
Because the whole arbor had been knocked down, and your favorite birdhouse had been smashed asunder, and everything was just ruined. Yep. And what I thought was that a drunk person or an old person,
Or a drunk old person.
which, by the way, made Granny very upset that I kept saying an old person, but I've seen old people drive. I thought that either a drunk person took a wrong turn and careened into her house, or an old person took the wrong turn, and as they were trying to back out, they ran through her yard and then got out of there. That's what I thought happened. But you did some investigations, Granny. You called the police, and they determined that it was, in fact, a car that had done this damage. It wasn't like a bear.
I want to tell you my detective work.
Okay, tell me your detective work.
Okay, my neighbor right across the street had a couple of cars, and had a little red car, and the gal was driving it, and so for 2 weeks it was just sitting in there, and when I left that morning, it wasn't there. And so after all this happened, I got to thinking about it, and so I called the policeman and told him about it, and he went over and talked to him, and they had donated the car to someone. And I don't know if they took it up the top of the hill, because the other neighbor said he saw a little red car up there. So when they come to get it, the car must have got away from them and rolled down the hill.
So was it an accident?
My yard.
Yeah, it took out her yard, but then it was a hit and run because they just left.
Yeah, they left.
Yes.
I haven't found out anything yet. The cop hasn't got back to me, but the insurance adjuster came this morning, and we had a fine time, so it worked out real good. In fact,
So hold on. So what did the insurance adjuster say? Are they going to pay for everything? Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Anyway,
That's what they're supposed to do.
they kind of did me a favor with the arbor, because the bottom of the things was so rotted out it would have fell over any day anyway.
So
it was-
is an arbor just a tree?
No, you idiot. It's one of those, the big arch that vines can grow
I
in.
see, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was. In fact, the day before, I went out there and pried it up, and so. Anyway,
Are we sure you didn't take out the arbor and then blame this car? This insurance adjuster better not be listening right now, Granny.
Well, it's been all settled, so she can't do anything. So,
In case you reveal on air this terrible thing that you did not do.
yeah, that was going to be my next project. All the rest of the stuff I started getting done. And so the front, and I couldn't decide what to do. So now all I have to do is have them haul the stuff away. And then I can start all over and do my
Man,
front
what
yard.
a lucky week that turned into, Granny.
Yeah.
A hit and run, and now your front yard's being paid to be rebuilt. What could be better, Granny?
Going to the casino.
Yeah, that's right. What happened to the casino?
I'll have to tell you this one. Anyway, Darlene and I came in, and we looked over and we saw a new machine, and so she was playing it. And so I walked over and I had $3. And so I thought, I'll just put in the $3, and because I was going to go into the restaurant and have breakfast. So I put in $3 and walked away with $45.
Wow.
So I thought, woohoo, my lucky day. So I go into the the restaurant, and I told the waiter, who's a nice young guy, I said, I can't eat very much, so can I have just a scrambled egg and a couple of sausages and a cup of coffee? And he said, sure. So I thought, I'm going to probably get billed the same price as a regular meal. So when I get the bill, it was $3.24.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, the bad news, Granny, is if you would have put that $3 in the slot machine, you might have won another $45. Instead, you just got some eggs and sausage.
That was good. Anyway, so I tipped him $4.
Oh, my Lord.
Look at you.
So why didn't you just pay full price then?
I know. Have you ever heard of paying more tip than your meal was?
I certainly have not.
Definitely not me.
I did it. And so then Darlene and I were going to meet down at the other end of the casino where the little food place is, and at 12:30. So I went all my way down there, slow but sure, and I didn't take my cane. So anyway, I got down there, and sure enough, I found my horse machine. And I sat down, and I collected, what was it? $360 out of that machine.
Holy cow.
Look at Granny.
Man, oh man. So did you go get your cane back? I'm wondering what that has to do with the story.
I'm just saying I never took my cane.
Oh, good job walking.
Yeah.
What, are you going to buy a gold cane now with all that money?
I don't know. So anyway, so then after lunch I went back and it wasn't paying anymore.
Oh, man.
So then I just kind of wandered around, and then I found this machine that had, it wasn't really circles, kind of little oblong, 5 on top and 5 on the bottom. And if you hit any number in there, it paid you 10 times.
Wow.
So I played and I hit a 10, so that gave me $100. So I thought, well, I'll pay $5.
This is how people become addicted.
I guess so.
Yes.
And Nikki said, Grandma, play big. So I thought,
Nikki,
well.
an enabler.
Yes, of course.
So I tried 2 $5 ones, but I didn't hit anything.
Oh, man.
If I'd have hit 100 on that one, I would have had $1,000, but it didn't.
Should have quit when you were ahead, Granny. You'd be $10 richer right now.
Well,
Could have paid that out in a contest.
Oh, poo.
Well, listen, it's pretty good, Granny, because at the beginning of this week, you thought that somebody was vandalizing your house and potentially coming after you. And it turned out that you ended up just rich beyond all of your dreams by the end of the week.
Yep.
Nutty.
Which casino do you go to?
Yeah, now Vinny's interested.
Can we plug this?
Angel of the Wings.
Angel of the Winds.
Angel of the Winds.
Wings. It's way up in
Winds.
by Arlington.
Yeah, Winds. Angel of the Winds, not wings.
Winds.
Winds.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I really didn't want to go. I thought it was going to be a long day.
Eyeball was really itchy right there. Go ahead.
I was planning on what I was going to do to waste away the day, but it went so fast.
Holy smokes. You're going to go blow all that money this weekend, aren't you?
No.
You sure? Okay. Put in a nice, solid mutual fund, Granny.
And now I've got my whole trunk full of stuff to take to the senior center. They're going to start taking stuff on June the 1st, and I got my trunk full of junk. I'm getting out of here.
So what are they doing, like a garage sale?
No, they have a big all-purpose room, and that's just full in August. They have a great big sale.
Wow.
They make like $35,000, $40,000.
Holy smokes. Vinny should head up there and grab some stuff.
I'll see what I can do.
Sounds like stuff right up your alley. Bunch of old people giving stuff away.
Right now they're selling plants, and Lynn and Don went over this Sunday and bought a whole bunch of plants from them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, any other great news, Granny?
No. My thing for today is kind of fun, so go ahead, Vinny.
Okay. On Granny's Facebook page, she says, Brian's birthday is June 12th. Today on the B&V show, tell me what I should get him. Thanks. And we begin with our old friend, Edward Laredo.
I can only imagine what Ed's going to get me for my birthday.
Lifts so he won't be so short and a much nicer personality.
Typical.
Paul Sandman Moore says...
When's his birthday so I can get him some Spanx?
What's happening, Granny?
I don't know what she's doing over there. I'm trying to do comedy here, and
I'm
she's
tapping on something.
just playing the damn drums.
I forget. I have to be so quiet.
Yes.
Paul Sandman Moore says a sense of humor transplant.
These suck, Granny. One more.
Oh, come on, Brian. There's
If
a
they're
whole
like
bunch
this,
of
I don't want to hear anymore.
Aw.
This ain't a roast.
Ryan D. Norcross says a finely crafted satchel to make sure he does not become a satchel ass, which he won't, but you never know.
I thought it was going to be a well-crafted satchel for his ass.
Ryan Pike says this book on cleaning up his language.
Come on, everybody.
Thomas Kaiser Mesner, collector's edition of Battlefield Earth and Bucky Larson Born to be a Star, so he can watch those movies over and over again since he loved them so much. Rolling laughing emoji.
You want to keep going?
I don't care.
Keep going.
Matthew Steele
Make
says...
Granny further entertained on her happy week.
Yep.
Yep.
Matthew Steele says a guilt trip.
I get one of those every day. I don't need one for my birthday.
May not be much, but it'll remind him of you. I'd say an offer to take his place for a B&V&C Nitro, but that would just lead to the first suggestion, so just cut out the middle man.
Huh?
I don't know. Reese Allen Fabergé, The Burge,
Fabergé.
Theberge. A sun lamp. Akin to what you use for reptiles, so Brian can at least feel like he's outside while being stuck inside for another pay-per-view.
Hey, it's not bad. You know, I once got one of those really, really bright lights that, like, if you have seasonal affective disorder, you can sit in front of this goddamn light. It's supposed to make you feel better. It's bullshit.
Did you not feel better?
Didn't make me feel any better.
All you could think about was the electricity bill going up.
All I could think about was, first off, I had to go to a place that grew weed. Of course, that's the only place that sold these things. Then I brought it home and sat in front of it, and I never felt any better.
Did you get a tan?
It sounds so cheery.
Hell no, I didn't get a tan. I realized that I realized I should have just gone to Hawaii instead of bought a fake light.
Be more
Supposed to make me
expensive.
feel better. Anyway,
Jason Scott says, I'd say canned water, but Brian will have a tantrum. So instead I'm going to suggest a good old-fashioned bottled water. Works just as well as canned water.
then why does he always say canned water?
That's a great question. And the odds are good the EMP attack is coming sooner rather than later.
I've heard that for years, Jason. Years. You're like Granny. The end's coming at any time.
Yep.
It's all about to collapse. She's been saying this for 88 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Hayden Fallick says, just give him all the money from the people who have won contests but not collected their PayPal.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
See, now
Granny.
you're happy.
Now we're talking.
I give it to Whitney.
That'll do
Great.
as well. Yeah, it'll do as well.
Where do you think we're going anyway? James R. Berry says, matching jackets with the words Chop and Roll Express for him and Filthy Tom.
I'd wear it.
Also, June 12th is my dad's birthday, so Brian is in good company.
Somebody make me a Ribera Chop House jacket.
Oh, there you go.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be cool. Tyler Schmock. That's what it says. Arm pads, so he can take them off to power up his chopping during his match. Brian, do your best impression of, or Vinny, do your best impression of Brian saying chopping.
You can't do it, Vinny.
I don't have the practice, the
No.
passion. Ryan Cobbs says pork chops, lamb chops, veal chops, loin chops, shoulder chops, chopsticks, sirloin chop, tomahawk chops, chop suey, and a framed picture of his loving grandmother.
I can do without the loin chops.
That's a good one.
Chicky Singer says the book Forgiven by Vince Russo. Let's get the rest of that. You wrote a long thing about it.
I'm sending this to Filthy right now, my idea for Ribera Chop House jackets.
Brian Quinlan says an invitation to come over and visit you.
Hey.
Rick Hewer says a weekend home on the East Coast, so he doesn't have to watch the... Oh, I see. A weekend home on the East Coast, so he doesn't have to watch the pay-per-views at 3 p.m. He can fly across the country to watch a pay-per-view instead. Dino Curatalo says a clock that is 3 hours ahead, so he can watch pay-per-view starting at 7.
Oh man, we're already putting this into action. I just came up with an idea here on the air. Because our buddy, Brian Resnick, who is the guy that does he sends us an email every week. He's keeping track of the chopping block. He was keeping track of Geek of the Week. He is going to Japan this week.
Really?
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So if we can get him some money, he can get 2 of these jackets. And we can have someone put the big X through the steak and then embroider chop underneath. I'd say one of a kind, but we get 2 of them. But you know what I mean.
Bobby in Parado says a tech person so I can listen to audio on Downcast.
Well, you should be able to listen to audio on Downcast. I can.
Yeah.
I don't think the issue is having a tech person. You're the person who needs to figure this out.
Anthony Mucci says some honey so he can fulfill his destiny of being Winnie the Pooh.
It's not the kind of honey I was thinking about right there. One more.
What?
We got to do the wrestling report, Granny. We don't have all night. You spent an hour talking about the casino.
I don't have that much to do.
Well, we've gone a long time, so one more, Vinny.
Kyle Vanderhoven says a DVD copy of The Guilt Trip, and he linked to it. Right? It's an
yeah.
actual movie.
Yeah. All right.
Would I get penalized if I went over my time?
Well, dock your pay.
Yes, you will be penalized.
Okay, 205.
All right.
Gulak versus Metalak. Is it Metalak?
Metallique.
Metallique. Can I just call him Med?
You can call him whatever you want, Granny. You always do. Why do you have to ask me?
Okay.
Ed.
They rolled around, jumping over each other. Med kicked Gulak in the face, and Gulak falls out of the ring. Count to 5. Subhold on Med, and Med jumps Gulak, drops Gulak on his face on the mat. A few open hand slaps.
Chops.
Slaps.
Chops.
Whatever. Anyway, a clothesline by Gulak and a body slam, and Gulak wins. I give that one a 3.
Ooh, wow.
I'll tell you later why later. Okay.
You want to tell us why now? Okay.
Oh, after I do this one.
Okay.
Okay, then NXT is Zayn versus Evans. I'm just going by the last names here. Zayn starts out violent. She slaps Evans real hard. Zayn gets Evans in the corner, sitting down. She bangs and kicks her, and then a blockbuster. By this time, I didn't care who did what. Zayn prances around the ring, thinks she has control, gets up on the rope, jumps Evans, turns tables, and gives Zayn a turnbuckle and gets the count. So Evans wins that. And that's a 3 also. And that's the reason I said that was because those are 2 of my most disliked wrestlers, Gulak and Evans.
You don't like Lacey Evans?
No.
How come?
I don't know. She's too vicious.
Oh, wow.
Nothing worse than a vicious pro wrestler.
Yeah, what do you think you're watching, Granny? Bowling?
Well, anyway. Then I'm back to The Undertaker. Did you know that The Undertaker at one time was called Wendy?
Wendy?
Yes. Booger Red and Wendy. That was back in, I think,
There was a Booger Red phrase.
I definitely know Booger Red, but I did not know about Wendy.
Yes, Wendy.
Let's see what Wikipedia has to say about this. Where did you hear this, Granny? Did you look on the internet?
I got it on Google.
Google. Okay, that probably means Wikipedia. Let's see here. I see the Commando, Kane the Undertaker, Mark Callis, Mean Mark, Dice Morgan, the Master of Pain, the Punisher, Texas Red, and the Undertaker. Where do you get Wendy?
It was on there somewhere.
If I Google Undertaker Wendy, I find on uprocks.com 13 things you might not know about Taker, I presume. Behind the scenes, Paul Bearer's nickname for Taker was Wendy.
Like Wendy's the drive-thru?
Because of his red hair.
Oh. Tony just looked at me and went, like this is a fact. What are you talking about, Tony? You've heard this?
No, not for him specifically. Anybody with red hair.
I see. Okay. All right. You were nodding like this was wrestling knowledge that I was an idiot for not knowing. All right, I got it. Okay, go on, Granny.
Okay, so Undertaker's he's at backstage, and he goes up to the commissioner and beats the heck out of him, and hits him with a garbage can.
Who was the commissioner?
I don't know who he was. And McMahon was in the ring doing a promo when Austin took money out of McMahon's pockets. He said how much. He said how much it was, but I forgot. And he gave it to the ref and told him to donate it. And Undertaker comes out. He hates Austin, beats him, and throws him into the coffin.
I have no idea what she just recapped.
Hey, this was all I saw it all. I don't make these up.
I know you don't make it up, Granny, but
It might be fun to do, though. Okay, then there was Stone Cold and Triple H were in the ring, and they were bragging and showing off their belts. Undertaker and Kane came out with chains, beat up on Stone Cold and Triple H, then stood in the ring and twirled chains over their head. At one point, Undertaker told Stone Cold he was so full of crap his eyes were turning brown. Now I have a question. Was Kane really in the fire? Is that why he's wearing a mask?
Well, I mean, in storyline, yes, but in real life, he was not burned to a crisp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's running for mayor right now, Granny.
I heard that.
Without a mask. Unburned.
Although there is a fire in his campaign logo.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Wow.
Huh.
Well, I thought since I had a long story of my own private life, I wouldn't have to have so much wrestling.
Well, we went a whopping 26 minutes, Granny, so I think you've hit your limit.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah, so what else are you going to do? What's going on?
Well, do I have... How much more time do I have?
How much more time do you want?
Well, little Carlos had his 15th birthday, but I never get to see the boys.
Okay, so any other guilt you want to dole out here?
I've given that to Tony.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, we went over the other day on his birthday, and my mom didn't tell us that it was his birthday because she thought if she told us, we would go get him a gift, and then you would be upset that we didn't do his birthday together.
Aha!
So we went over there, we hung out, we left. And after we left, one of Carlos's friends went up to my mom and said, they walked right in and went right past Carlos and never even wished him happy birthday. So we came off as total jerks. Now, granted, I didn't remember it was his birthday, but that's beside the point. So we'll all do a celebration for little Carlos here at some point. It was not little anymore.
Well, I told Nicky he'll get a present when I see him. And
so you're adding guilt to his birthday celebration.
Well,
you're not going to wish him happy birthday or give him a gift unless he comes over to see you.
I already did all that. But it's just that families used to get together on birthdays, and they don't do that anymore, which is okay.
Apparently, it's not okay, Granny, because you've been harping on it for 2 minutes now.
I know.
Okay.
You wanted to find out what I'm thinking.
Okay, what else are you thinking, Granny?
Nothing. Just thinking about how I'm going to fix up my front yard.
All right. Well, have fun doing that, Granny. Maybe I'll come over and take a look at it sometime around my birthday, so you'll give me a present. How about that?
I got one planned for you.
I can't wait to see it.
You never use them or anything anyway. I never see any of that stuff I got you around.
All right, anything else, Granny?
Read the message I sent you.
Yeah, I read it before the show. I was prepared.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That it?
I'm done.
All right. It's been fun, Granny. I'll see you soon.
All righty. Bye,
Okay.
Vinny.
Bye,
Tony.
Granny. Tony waves at you.
Yeah, he said goodbye as well.
All
Okay.
righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you, John.
What?
I said thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Who's John?
Never mind.
All right, we're out of here. I hung up on her. Well. Phew. Hey, she had an exciting week.
She did.
It wasn't looking good at the beginning. You could only imagine what Granny was thinking when she thought somebody was going over to her house and vandalizing
Like
it.
she had an enemy?
Yeah, there was an enemy. And then she goes, my she's got one of those lights, motion sensor lights.
Word.
She goes, it turns on every now and then at night. Like, it could be anything. It could be a moth. Doesn't mean like the vandals are running around your house. Now they're going to strike. Like, if you're a vandal, what you're going to go after is her arbor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, let's get going here. NXT.
NXT, May 23rd, 2018. Heavy Machinery versus TM61.
So apparently we all tweeted the same thing at the same time.
About Otis?
Yeah.
Otis Dozovich is my favorite wrestler in the world.
He is my favorite wrestler this week as well.
He's awesome. Unspeakably awesome.
You know what I got to say about Otis Dozovich? There is nobody like him.
No. Ever.
That's true.
He's the widest man in the world. WIDEST. And he still walks around with a giant imaginary fake lat syndrome, even though he has lats.
Yeah.
I swear to God, he's 18.
His arms stand, they literally go out like this.
Yeah.
Because his lats are already wide,
Yeah.
but he makes them look bigger like
Yes.
this.
His elbows are pointed out. They're 8 feet apart, I'm certain.
Yes. And you know what else I got out of this? There was a spot where him and Tucker, they're facing TM61. And him and Tucker Knight, they both are holding one of TM61. They're like holding them together, right? Mm-hmm. So they're right next to each other. Tucker Knight is maybe 3 or 4 inches taller.
Okay.
Otis just fucking looks short because he's so goddamn wide. Yes. But he really isn't that short. I just, you can say what you want about Vince McMahon. He's the greatest promoter of all time, okay? Mm-hmm. Largely because everyone else
sucked more.
was really stupid.
By default, Vince is. Yes.
But I mean, he's probably a genius. He's lasted a long ass time.
In a way.
Okay?
In a way.
He just sold a 3-hour Raw and SmackDown for $2.5 billion over 5 years. Okay, he's a fucking genius.
It's hard to knock him this week, yes.
However, he looks at these two guys and he calls up Tucker for the greatest Royal Rumble.
He's not perfect.
He is definitely not perfect.
No.
Like, I have nothing against Tucker, but what wrestling promoter on this fucking planet cannot look at Otis Dozovich and go, this man is money.
Forget wrestling promoter. Any entertainment venue. Sideshow. Put him on The Voice. It'd be awesome. Just get
American Idol.
Just have this man on TV being Otis. I will tune in.
Have you ever been to a Cirque show and they have the big strong guy who doesn't actually do any flips?
Yeah, he's a strong.
Otis.
They do flips off of him.
Exactly.
Otis walks out. There's 6 guys standing on his shoulders. They all do flips. Otis is being wasted here. The more I think about this.
Steak and Shake. He should be their mascot.
Yeah. So this was set up when Heavy Machinery had a confrontation backstage last week. And I remember they had a confrontation. And I remembered Otis being awesome in this confrontation. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember who it was with. And then TM61 came out and I thought, oh, it all makes sense now.
Can you hit quit pounding that desk while you're telling this
My bad.
story?
Point is, TM61 are totally forgettable. And that is still true. So Otis is out there being awesome. He just obliterates Thorne with a pounce and stands over him sneering. They did the spot, all as you said. They grabbed one Australian and they ran him into the other. But they teased it and built it, and the place was going crazy just for this simple, basic battering ram thing. And everyone loved it, and then TM61 got the heat on Tucker Knight, and suddenly nobody cared.
The other thing about TM61 I got to mention very quickly is that they did that video package for them, and it was really cool. And you really cared about them when you watched the video package. And it showed their personalities. Do you remember this?
I do.
Okay. If you ever watch Being the Elite, Hangman Page has a personality on Being the Elite.
Okay.
But he never displays it in the ring. Mm-hmm. If you have never watched Being the Elite, he is just a guy in the ring in Ring of Honor New Japan. TM61, if you never saw that video, they're just 2 guys. Like, you gotta figure out a way to display your personality inside the ring. Yeah. You can't just rely on video packages. They're so generic in the ring.
Yeah. So Otis tags in and he runs over and around and into and through everybody. He does the worm and a big elbow. Tucker starts suplexing guys everywhere, but then he gets knocked out of the ring. And Otis goes for a Vader bomb when Thorne kicks him in the head, and Miller gets the pin with his
Well, the big spot was he goes for the Vader bomb, he grabs their flag,
towel.
and he wipes his, and that's the distraction.
Yeah, he distracted himself.
He's kicked and pinned.
Yeah. Pinned with the feet on the ropes.
Bullshit.
Like, this had to have been my favorite Otis match ever. I think of the ground that covers.
It was up there.
They're all great.
It would have been better if they would have done their battering ram or whatever they call it, the trash compactor.
Yeah.
But, so the storyline is TM61 is starting to cheat to turn heel because they weren't getting over his baby faces.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine storyline. You don't got to beat heavy machinery. Unacceptable. There are other geek teams.
Had a Bianca Belair video package.
We're going to find out who she is
Yep.
next week.
Lots of family photos and stuff. An EC3 video package. He's out by the pool talking about how he's already changed the NXT universe.
I had a bizarre typo. I wrote ECW video package, and I could not for the life of me figure out why that was on NXT and why I couldn't remember it. Now I know.
Kairi Sane versus Lacey Evans. So first they shot the piss out of each other. And then Kairi, out of nowhere, hits Tetsuya Naito's Destino. Like a minute in.
Yeah, the best Destino I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Better than any Destino that Naito's ever delivered.
Yeah.
Because she's so little, and she did it so fast, and it looked so
it
awesome.
happened so fast. Like, seconds passed, and you were like, was that a Destino? I was like, yeah, it really was.
Because, Naito's a big guy. I mean, he's not like Otis, but he's way bigger than
Don't say.
Kairi Sane.
Yes.
So, like, he runs and...
So he's in between 100 and 500 pounds.
Yeah, you kind of wait for the other guy to sort of lift him, and he has to go up and around and down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kairi just went like, boom!
Like a feather.
Yeah.
So this went on for a while. Lacey got the heat on her, manhandled her for a bit. She's improving rapidly, Lacey Evans is. And then Kairi makes her big comeback. Hits a big axe kick to the back, a big spear, which is always funny when a small person spears a bigger person. And then Lacey's in the corner, and Kairi hits the sliding D and just crushes her. Lacey's doing the cross-eyed sell. It was awesome. And then, as Granny said, Kairi went up top, and as Granny said, Lacey hit her with a turnbuckle, which is not accurate.
No.
She hit her with the women's right,
The women's right.
which is a big punch.
The women's right.
Yeah,
Okay, so is it a woman's right to be able to punch someone in the face?
apparently.
Is she fighting for women's rights? That's like part of her old school gimmick.
she's a
like
woman.
She's trying to get the right to vote.
She's Rosie the Riveter? Yeah.
Yeah, is that what she is? That's what I think she
The
is.
closest, yeah. I think, well, it's a play on words, but it's also just, she's a woman. It's her right hand. It's a woman's
I mean, there's
right.
so many ways to interpret that.
Yeah,
It is a woman's right hand. It is her right to punch.
I guess so.
She does come off as someone from, the
World War II
early earlier than that.
So Lacey pins Kairi Sane clean. Big upset. And one little girl was very happy. Like a 3-year-old who really likes her some Lacey Evans. Kathy is in the parking lot.
They should do a gimmick where like there's a poll, like when they did that WWE magazine poll, who is the handsomest guy in WWE, and all the women voted for Cody Rhodes, and so he became Dashing Cody Rhodes. They need to do something like that in NXT, and Lacey Evans needs to pick it for the right to vote, and they keep telling her you can vote, but like she doesn't understand yet. You know what I mean?
That's a great idea, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, Kathy goes to interview the Garganos as they arrive in the building.
Got to mention, by the way, that when she actually beat Kairi Sane, Morrow was out of his mind for this upset.
Yeah.
Did a hell of a job getting over. This was the biggest win of all time for Lacey Evans.
Well, it is.
A massive upset, which it was. Yeah.
So the Garganos are there. Johnny's got a neck brace on and says, we've discussed our future. We've come to a decision as a team. We'll make an announcement later, and I may not want to do it, but it has to be done.
You know what I loved about this in hindsight? You're watching it, and you presume that it's going to be a swerve where he says he's going to retire, but then he doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. Well, in reality, in this segment, his intention was to retire.
As we know, yeah, in hindsight, yeah.
It was not one of those things where, we pretend like we're going to retire, but it's a swerve. Like in this segment here, in storyline, his wife had talked him into retiring.
Yes.
And he's very sad about it.
Yes. A mysterious blonde woman interviewed Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch after their win last week. And they said they had beaten Undisputed Era once, and they would beat them again for the tag titles. And this led to an Undisputed Era promo where they disagreed. So they said last week was a fluke. Burch and Lorcan would hang their hats on that for the rest of their careers. Said Roddy and Burch and Lorcan did not deserve a title shot. None of them ever heard of these two geeks before last week. Then Roddy says he waits for no man. And he wants to face Danny Burch next week. Roddy's promos are much better as a heel.
I gotta ask, is there any other team or singles wrestler in NXT that has their music playing in the background throughout all of their promos?
No.
Am I just noticing this for the first time?
Apparently, yeah, they've done it the whole time.
No, I know they have, but there's anybody else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. It works.
So I'm not crazy.
No.
All right.
It works for them. Lars Sullivan versus Ricochet and Velveteen Dream in a handicap match. So, I was waiting for a swerve from the get-go. I thought there's no way they're actually going to do this match.
No.
But they did. For several minutes. At least about 10 minutes.
Now, before I get into the match, if Otis Dozovic is my favorite wrestler this week, my favorite entrance is Lars Sullivan's entrance.
It's awesome.
It is perfect music for him.
Yep. The light show.
The light show, and then the gimmick where he gets in the ring and they turn on all the lights, and there's one spotlight that's shining directly into the camera.
That's behind him.
Yep, and then all of a sudden he raises up.
Yes.
And he's in this awesome. How have they never done this with anybody before?
I don't know. It's fantastic.
It's great.
So Lars tosses them around a bit. There's nothing they can do. And finally they start working together. And let's be honest, Velveteen Dream and Ricochet were a hell of a team. They had great timing together. They had great chemistry together. All their double teams looked cool. They were on the same page throughout. And finally, Lars cuts off, well, both of them. He gets the heat on Dream. And for a long time, this crowd loves Velveteen Dream. They love Ricochet. They don't necessarily hate Lars, but they didn't want to see either of these two guys sell for a while.
Well, there were a lot of problems. I mean, first off, Lars is supposed to be a heel now, I believe.
He always has been.
And the idea was, no, I think he was kind of a babyface there for a while. Felt like it to me. But anyway, so Velveteen and Ricochet had a match.
Yes.
Lars ruined it,
Yes.
okay? Mm-hmm. So the idea is it is now a handicap match, and as a heel, he is going to get his just desserts.
That's the plan.
That's why it's two baby faces versus one heel. That's the psychology there. Like, this is back-assward psychology, but it's supposed to make sense because he's getting his just desserts. They double-teamed this guy for so long that it's like, how is Lars Sullivan a heel here? You know what I mean?
There was a lot of that.
They beat the shit out of him together forever. And what was weird was they double-teamed him for how long? What, 2 straight minutes, 3 minutes?
At least, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So finally, he cuts off, who was it? Dream?
It's heat on Dream.
Cuts off Dream or whatever. And then they just have Ricochet stand on the apron.
Yeah.
I'm like, why aren't you in the ring, dude? Like, you double-teamed the guy for 3 minutes. What are you doing standing on the apron right now? And then, for the comeback, they both just got in the ring again.
That did happen, yes.
So it was like, they wanted to make a match with some psychology by having Lars beat on a guy for the heat. But the way the match was structured, it's like, why the hell was Ricochet just standing on the apron during the heat? That's why the guy turned on him, probably.
Well, eventually, Ricochet did get the hot tag, and then both men ran wild, more double teams, etc., etc. So Dream goes up top, and it appeared to me that he legit fucked something up, and they tried to save it in editing. Then Ricochet hits a 450 splash, but he gets up, Dream grabs him, lays him out with a cartwheel DVD. He begins to badmouth him. I'm trying to figure out why he accuses Ricochet of screwing him. I'm trying to figure out what happened and why, if he had screwed him, then Dream had fought beside him for 10 minutes. And the announcers, credit to them, they explained Ricochet had tried to tag himself in when Dream was on the top rope, and this caused Dream to fall.
I see.
That is the story.
Well, clever.
That's a fine idea. That is not how it came off to me live on camera. But that's the story they're going with. So that is why Dream is angry at Ricochet. That's why he turned on him and laid him out. And then he left, and Lars pinned Ricochet with a freak accident. I thought this match was a lot of fun, actually.
This match was a lot of fun.
Yes.
It was just, the crowd was weird, and I think they were weird because the psychology of the match was weird.
It was.
But as an actual match, it was a fun match. Yeah. So, Cliff, who does the music sometimes here for this show, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago, when we first opened up the jiu-jitsu school, he was in the very first kids class, and he was like 8 or something. And he would always say, is there such thing as a leg bar? And I'd say, yeah. It's called a knee bar,
Yes.
but it's a leg bar.
Yeah.
And then like he'd come up and he'd say, is there such thing as a toe bar? I'd say, well, there's really not there's a toe hold, there's an ankle lock, heel hook. There's not really a toe bar. Is there an ear bar? He would always ask these random body parts, okay? He was 8, so he didn't ask about a cock bar, but you know what I mean. Like anything that he could think of, he would ask if it could be barred. Well, anyway, I bring it up because in this match, Lars Sullivan is getting the heat on the Velveteen Dream, and he's holding onto his head, and Nigel McGuinness says he's got him in a chin bar.
That's what he said.
A fucking chin bar? How do you bar a chin?
Ask Lars Sullivan.
Well, the answer is you can't.
Okay.
But I howled when he called it a chin bar. I was
Tony
like, where the
howled.
fuck is Cliff when I need him? Look, dude, a chin bar.
Don't you feel silly about your black belt? You do,
Hey.
You missed that lesson.
I was not around for the chin bar week.
No. Kathy interviews Dakota Kai about her title match against Shayna Baszler next week.
God.
What?
Dakota's
Hang on.
face.
Wait. Before we even get to this, why is Dakota Kai getting a title shot?
Don't worry about it, dude. Don't think about this too much.
All she's done is be afraid to run away for weeks. So Dakota says she has been dreaming about this NXT title for years. It's insane. She's actually going to get a title shot. But she had allowed Shayna to get into her head. The biggest bully I've ever met in my life, she says. And Shayna arrives, and she makes fun of Dakota for saying her dream was coming true. Buries her for shutting up and having nothing to say. Says, you don't have a chance. Dakota, for the first time, musters up the courage to say, I'll see about that. And she leaves.
Yeah.
Shayna is baffled.
Okay, listen. If you watch Raw and you watch the Bayley-Sasha feud, okay, it's shit on paper. And it's shit in real life, all right? If you watch the booking of the Nakamura-AJ Styles feud, it's absolute shit on paper. Luckily, the matches are good until the shitty finishes, okay? This story with Shayna and Dakota Kai on paper is not bad. Do you understand? It's fucking terrible on television.
Well, again,
It's so bad.
it depends on how you look at it.
Dakota's on TV and she starts out, she's so happy that she's getting a championship match. And then it's like she suddenly realizes, well, fuck, God damn it, it's with Shayna.
Yeah.
So Shayna shows up. Dakota gets the look on her face that she always gets when she thinks of her triggered look, okay? And then Shayna says, you know you don't stand a chance, right? And Dakota is finally supposed to just stand up for herself, and she goes, we'll see about that. And Shayna Baszler is supposed to express, like, surprise.
I guess.
She's the bully that is surprised that somebody finally stood up to her. And I'm watching just going, bullshit. This is bullshit. I don't buy anything that in this feud right now.
The only thing I can say
And
about
listen, no spoilers, but I mean, come on. We all know what's going to happen next week.
Dakota ain't winning.
Dude. So, like, either she wins, which I think is exceedingly unlikely, or it's an even shittier story.
Because the bully wins in the
She
end.
stands up to the bully and gets her ass kicked.
Yes. Well, the only thing I can say is that, as I've been saying for weeks now, this is working in that it is making me look forward to Shayna tearing her head off.
Dude. I mean, listen, I'm entertained by this in the wrong way.
Yes. As it is.
I'm entertained like watching a nature documentary.
Sure, yeah. And you're cheering for the Lions. This gazelle's having a very bad day. Yeah, it is, as I noted last week, fantastic unintentional comedy.
Now let's talk about something that's awesome on paper and in execution.
The Garganos come out for a promo.
Oh, this is awesome.
First of all, they're coming out, and Johnny takes time to personally greet and thank every youngster he can find. every child, he thanks them for their support.
He's the best babyface in all of wrestling, and Ciampa is the best heel. And they're feuding.
It's perfect.
It is absolutely perfect.
So he gets in the ring, tells the people he loves them. Every day, he says, his body reminds him of the beating Tommaso Ciampa gave him. The damage he had taken crashing into that LED board, going through that table. And every day he was reminded of this, and it was time to think about his future. It was time to think about our future. And he took his wife's hand.
Oh. And again, in storyline,
yes,
he's not bullshitting the people.
No.
He's absolutely deadly serious.
And he says, I have to ask, with all we have at stake and all we have for our future, is this pain worth it? And the fans begin to chant, yes.
What a selfish group of shitheads. Am I wrong?
No.
God, this goddamn guy's been beaten 6 ways from Sunday. He's been doing this his whole fucking life. He's racked with injuries and pain. And the fans are like, keep going, dude.
He could go home and have a family with his beautiful blonde wife.
No.
But no, they say, please keep getting beat up in small buildings around Florida for our amusement.
Yes.
So he asked the question again, is all this pain and suffering, is it worth what I'm putting my family through? And they chant yes again. And he stops, and he's taken aback for a minute. And he goes to talk to Candace. The crowd is chanting his name.
Now off mic, this is not on the microphone. But if you read his lips, he is telling his wife, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And her face is changing, and she's realizing, this guy's changing his fucking mind.
Yes, and she's not down with this. But he says, you're damn right it's worth it, and takes his neck brace off. And the place goes crazy. Candace is beside herself. Johnny calls out Ciampa. Ciampa comes out on stage. Candace runs for help.
Yes.
She knows she can't stop this by herself. She needs help. So Tommaso gives Johnny a warning. If you are still... I'm going to come down to that ring, he says. And if you are still there when I get down to ringside, I'm going to end you.
Yes.
And he stalks him down to ring, like a lion stalking a gazelle.
And Candace is screaming at the referees to separate them. She's screaming, think about our future. Fans, these selfish shitheads, are screaming, don't listen to her.
Yes.
What a bloodthirsty group of geeks.
So eventually Tomas is in the ring. The Gargano's on the floor, and Johnny's fighting to get into the ring as Candace and all the refs hold him back. And finally, he starts to listen to his wife, and she's begging and pleading with him to think about their future and all they have together. He's very conflicted, but she's got his arm and is pulling on it, and he's slowly inching his way up the ramp, and he gets almost to the top of the stage when Ciampa says, Johnny, you should listen to your wife like a good little boy. Them's fighting words. And Johnny breaks free. He goes running down the ramp. He jumps in the apron. Ciampa, of course, is prepared, knocks him right back down off the apron, and Johnny goes flying, and he wipes out Candace on the ramp.
Oh! Kills her. She lands back of her head on the ramp.
Poetic this was.
Oh,
this is like
man.
a Greek tragedy unfolding before
This
my
was
eyes.
a Greek tragedy.
Yes.
This fucking guy let his emotions get to him.
Wrath.
It is
this
wrath.
was the deadly sin.
It is.
He should have listened to lust. He'd be much better off right now.
Yes.
He listened to wrath instead, and now he's lost everything. So this is not part of Ciampa's plan. And I won't say he showed remorse, but this was not what he meant to do. And once he saw Candace laid out, he got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
And so for about 2 minutes, Johnny and the refs and all the EMTs tended to Candace, made sure she was breathing, said be careful with her neck, and the show went off the air.
Okay. First off, this was an awesome angle, but I do have one question because I'm a critic. Okay, where's this going?
They're gonna do a rematch.
Well, I know they're doing a rematch, you jackass. But
What do you want?
the only thing that makes sense here is like this is loser gets the fuck out of here. But that's how they started this feud.
Yes.
Okay? So then it's like, well, maybe they'll have just like a badass killer street fight, whatever. They already had an unsanctioned match. Johnny submitted him with a crutch or the knee brace to the face.
What would make sense right now, as much as anything can make sense, would be an I Quit match. But Johnny just won by submission.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the point of that would be.
And then what happens after the match? Like, I mean, they're still both there.
I'm going to assume
This needs to be something where, like, this is the end, but how do you sell this as the end? Unless you just go right back to Loser Leaves Town again. What do you have, a Loser Leaves Town for real this time match?
I can only assume they will wrestle, Johnny will win again, and then on the next set of tapings, Tommaso will attack him again, and that'll just be a loop. Just keep doing this all year.
We'll see what they do here, but...
Yeah. Now, as awesome as this was, I don't think the fans are totally buying it. There was an 8-year-old boy shouting with glee, "Get the stretcher!" when Candace was laid out.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? The storytelling is fantastic.
Is awesome. And honest to God, I think that what probably happened was... here's what I honestly think happened. I think that the whole idea behind this was just to do the one match. And, like, it got over huge, and they decided to just keep it going.
Probably.
And when you intend to end, but then you have to keep it going, now you're working backwards.
Yes.
So I don't think they intended to do like a 3-match series and start with Loser Leaves Town. So we'll see where it goes. I'm sure the match is going to be awesome.
Yes, that's true.
They're all awesome. They're all great. That show was the best NXT, and God only knows how long.
That was an excellent episode of NXT, actually, yeah. And then we watched some Ring of Honor.
Here's the problem. Either the crowd was dead, or it sounded like the crowd was dead.
That was a large part of it.
That was the big problem with the main event. Now, the semi-main event, I don't even think a good crowd was saving this match.
I, having had some time here to reflect on this, for the record, Ring of Honor, Honor United, May 24th, 2018, from Edinburgh, Scotland.
Yeah.
The semi-main here we watched was Jay Lethal, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Dalton Castle versus The Kingdom.
Yes.
They just did a house show match. That's the easiest way to describe this.
Well,
now,
here, to be fair, hold on. The Honor Club, when you sign up for it, you get the TV show. If you do the year-long deal, you get the pay-per-views.
Okay.
You get the full ROH library like the WWE Network. Okay? But you also do get all the house shows. So this was a bigger than usual house show, but this was a house show.
Yeah.
This would be like if on the WWE Network, like if they're in Nebraska tomorrow, you can just fucking turn it on and watch the show in
see
Nebraska.
what's going on in Omaha.
Yeah. So I mean, like, we got what we paid for. That doesn't mean it was great.
No.
It was still pretty bad.
Now, here's the key. If I had been at a house show and watched this match, I think I still would have thought it sucked.
Yes.
This was... Having had some time here, I've realized not only was this a house show, I think, to a large degree, and I'm dead serious here, they were deliberately trying to have a bad match.
I wouldn't go that far.
There was so much awful comedy here. We had Stalling Forever. We had a great deal of nipple-associated comedy. Comedy about nipples and missed punches and everyone doing Dalton's peacock pose. And none of it's any good.
Well,
any good!
Vinny, part of the problem is the crowd didn't think the comedy was funny.
Nor did I.
Well, it doesn't matter about you. My point is, like, at the last ROH house show that I watched, The War of the Worlds, there was a spot where Bernard the Business Bear and Hiromu Takahashi's mascot, cat,
Daryl. Yes.
got in a fucking pull-apart.
Okay.
You've never seen a crowd go so crazy for
That's
something like
because that sounds
this.
funny.
But the point is, like, you never know. I mean, sometimes you know what the crowd's going to find funny, but they did not like this comedy. In front of another crowd, maybe they would have gone crazy for all of this. But instead, it was just like a quiet crowd that was just watching some stuff.
Bored out of their minds. So they swarm Lethal and cut him off, and nobody gives a fuck. The announcers are bored out of their skulls. They're talking about other sports guys. And next thing I know, I'm looking at Matt Taven on the apron giving himself a wedgie as Vinny Marseglia pops a balloon against Jay Lethal's ear, and that was it.
That was actually where I was ready to tap out.
I would have canceled my ROH service if I was a customer. I hated the first half of this match so much. I felt it was wasting my time. My intelligence was insulted. And I like at least 3 of these men. I like Castle, Lethal, and Tanahashi. It was so stupid.
Taven giving himself a wedgie because his ass was facing the hard cam. Like,
the crowd was saying something about shoving something up his ass.
maybe that's why he did. I don't know. But all I know is as a viewer, I was like, I got a fast forward button.
Fuck that. I got a whole fucking world.
Well,
I can go for a country drive. I can go get a cup of coffee. I can go see out of my family. I can call my mom. There's a million things I would have rather been doing than watching this goddamn match.
now the other thing is that, to be fair, this was Lethal's first match back since he got a concussion.
Okay.
And Dalton Castle has a broken hand, a bad back, and a fucked up thigh.
I did notice Dalton Castle was wrestling in a shirt and had more tape on his thigh than the Mummy.
He did. I literally think he took one bump in this match.
Yeah.
Now, it was outside the ring, but I literally think when Evil came out and hit him with the belt, I believe that was the only bump he took in the entire match.
Yeah. Now, thank God, eventually Tanahashi got a hot tag and they did some actual pro wrestling. And from that point forward, it was not good, but I didn't hate it. So, yes, Evil comes out, and of course, the camera cuts away just as he appears. Just because I wasn't angry enough at this match. He lays out Castle on the floor. Now it's a 3-on-2 match, and eventually they overwhelm Lethal. They break a cane over his back. They pinned him with a triple powerbomb, and thank the Lord it was over. There was a point in this match where, I don't know, I'm assuming it was on their end, but the stream started to stutter and then went black.
Yeah.
I began to pray to God.
It didn't come back?
Please don't let it come back.
Oh,
I don't want to see any more of this. So that sucked. And the main event was Cody and Hangman Page versus the Briscoe brothers. And they had a decent little main event tag match that nobody cared about.
Yeah, the crowd. It was just like, they worked hard. It was a serious main event style match. There was very little comedy in it. Mm-hmm. The Briscoes, I mean, they're out there to do their match.
Yeah.
There ain't going to be no bullshit.
No.
And the crowd was just like quiet.
Yeah.
And again, maybe, like, I don't want to get the reports tomorrow from people that were there that goes, dude, the crowd was going crazy. I don't care. On television, it was silent. So that hurt the match. They're doing all these spots, they're doing all this crazy stuff, and there's just no reaction whatsoever. But what they did was not bad.
No, not at all. Cody looked great. The Briscoes looked great. Hangman looked great, actually. Crowd loved Hangman Page, actually. He may have been their favorite guy. They were singing his name and all stuff. So, Brandy at one point, Brandy Rhodes sprayed hairspray in Jay's eyes. It led to nothing. They just kept wrestling. In fact, the Briscoes technically were the heels in this match.
They were definitely the heels in this match.
Because they got the
Bullet
heat on,
Club were the baby faces here.
Got the heat on Page and then the heat on Cody. And finally, after a bunch of big moves, Jay pins Page with a Jay Driller. And that was that. And this is nothing I have not seen plenty of times before, but it was not terrible or anything.
No, and that's it. That's Potpourri, everybody. That was an hour right there, those two matches. Which made that semi-main even more infuriating, actually, because it went so...
think about that.
It went so long.
Yeah. It was so long. It was not just that it was shitty, it was so much shit.
There was a lot of stalling and not doing anything, so... I do still love the fact that I can watch any of these shows anytime I want.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
It is a golden age, everyone.
And hey, listen, the last one I watched was really good, the War of the Worlds show.
Yes.
There is good stuff out there. We tune in at the wrong time.
You can't win them all.
Yeah.
And tonight we lost.
There's no reason to cancel the Honor Club, Vinny.
Yeah.
Even though you don't have it in the first place.
Right.
Well, I guess that's it, everybody. So it is a holiday weekend. And I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not sure what we're doing on Sunday. You may just be looking at Vinny for an hour. We'll figure out what we're going to do, but one way or the other, we'll be back next week. So for sure on Tuesday, Retro Raw and Retro Nitro returns, and all of the other shows on is scheduled, so that's that. You can always check out this and every Bryan and Vinny show at video.f4wonline.com. Pretty much every Bryan and Vinny show from 2018 is up there. The 2017 Christmas show is up there. And in fact, Tony noted the other day, we got a random order, a single order, because you can buy the shows individually.
Yes.
Or you can subscribe and just get all the shows.
Yeah.
Somebody ordered individually the Christmas show.
Oh, hey.
And I was like, that's odd. And then the guy, either called or texted into the show to say, hey, I just bought the Christmas show. I can't wait till this year's Christmas show. And I was like, well, it's a long time, dude. And I ain't thinking about it.
Yeah.
But you can get that one. And we have one edition of Wrestling Observer Live up there as well. So we're experimenting with a bunch of stuff. So check it out, video.f4wonline.com. WrestlingObserver.com has information on all the other stuff we're doing. And July 14th, Crown Point, Indiana, myself and Filthy Tom Lawler versus The Rock and Roll Express.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Chop and Rolls versus the Rock and Rolls. Tickets available. It is stickied on my Twitter at Brian Alvarez, so check that out. And that is it from here. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Adios.